All right, problem number 5. Problem number 5, we have some exponents. It says that if 5 to the 18th times 2 to the 20th is multiplied out, what is the leading digit of the product? Okay? All right, so my hint to you is, first of all, remember remember the definition of an exponent, that 5 to the 18th just means 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, 18 times, okay? So we'd have 18 fives multiplied out, okay? And the same way for 2. We could put multiplication. If we were to expand 2 to the 20th, we'd just have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 20 times, okay? So we can expand this out and think of it in terms of what it means. An exponent that is just repeated multiplication, okay? So that would be my first hint. And the second hint is, remember that multiplication is commutative. So that just means that it doesn't really matter the order that we multiply these things in, okay? So if you can creatively switch around the order, then you can probably figure this out pretty easily, okay? That's my hint, and here's the solution. Alright, so we have 5 to the 18th, so that just means 5 multiplied times itself 18 times. Alright, so we have 18 times, we have the 5 repeated 18 times, and over here we have 2 to the 20th, and 2 to the 20th is just 2 multiplied times itself 20 times. Okay, so imagine that I wrote out 18 fives and 20 twos. Okay, I'm not going to take the time to write those out. It'd be too long, and so that's just the definition of what an exponent is. Just repeated multiplication. All right, and the other thing is that whenever you multiply a 5 times a 2, so let's say we multiply this 5 times this 2, we get a 10. All right. And you can easily just match up 5s and 2s and get a bunch of 10s instead of having, instead of launching into multiplying 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 is 7, you could go ahead and you could multiply all that out, but that would just take a lot of time and would be very error prone. But it's a lot easier to rearrange these digits and just multiply them in a different order. So if we create a bunch of 10s, so let's say we take 18 of these 5s, which we have 18 of them, take 18 of these 5s and match them up with 18 of these 2s, we would have 10 to the 18th, right? We'd have 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, 18 times, okay? But we were only able to match up 18 of the 5s with 18 of the 2s, so we'll have actually 2 2's left over in this second part, in the 2 to the 20th. So this would end up being 2 squared, okay? Now that's a lot easier to do because 10 to the 18th will just be a 1 with 18 zeros, right? Because every time you multiply by 10, you just add another 0, right? So that makes it easy. And a 1 with 18 zeros times a 2 squared, which is 4, is just going to be 4 times 10 to the 18th. Now that's scientific notation. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but this just represents the number of zeros. So this is just going to be 18 zeros. Okay, so we have a 4 followed by 18 zeros. So the leading digit is 4. And there you go.